Are you ready for November and all that it's going to bring to us? Elections, Thanksgiving, oh yeah, and a possible railroad strike by November 19th. Hey fam, welcome back to the channel. It is a busy news week, which means it is a busy work week for me if I intend to bring you all of this information that I am finding, and I'm trying to space it out to give you guys time to look at it. But it's like story after story of things that are happening keep popping up. Got a woosah before I get into this one. A lot of you have been asking me about the whole railroad situation, and honestly, I didn't even want to touch on it, but it's gotten to a point where I have no other choice but to do this video. And let's just jump right into it, you guys. But first, I want to remind you, it is not too late to go out, stock up your home. Things are going to cost a little bit or a lot more than what they have been costing. But if you need it, you need to get it now. Because when all hell breaks loose, guys, you're going to be in that store fighting for the simplest items. Salt, water, toilet paper, and the list goes on. I will most definitely leave this article in the description box below, and I have a clip that is going to go with this video. But in case I get a copyright or just a copyright, I'm going to probably end up having to take that video out. But I want to be able to get you all the information that you need, so I will do my best to give you all the details today. Okay, when are we at the point where we're going to say we are, I believe, hitting that SHTF situation? Now that is going to depend on who you are, what your bank account look like, what you have in your home stockpiled already, whether or not you're in a SHTF situation. Not everybody will be, because some people are more prepared than others, and those who aren't prepared, this is why I am doing these videos, so that you can go out, stock your home up, and get ready for it to hit the fan. Okay, so a second railroad union voted down the labor deal needed to avoid a nationwide strike. You guys, I did a story on this a few months ago, and I told you they weren't happy. So when the unions went in to represent the workers, let's remember, represent the workers, I said then those workers were not going to be happy with it. They're not going to accept that. But they rushed out and they came out and said, oh, there's a deal that's been made. And the they is meaning the White House, because Biden took himself into the meeting and he brokered that deal for everybody. And so everybody can get what they need, but everybody did not get what they were asking for. Okay, so here we go. The article reads, oh, I need my glasses. Another railroad voted down the labor deal that needed to avoid a nationwide strike. The Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen voted down the tentative agreement coordinated between unions, freight rail companies, and the Biden administration. Trains move about 1/3 of our country's exports, like coal, grain, fertilizer. And if there's no deal, a strike would cripple the supply chain. It just started pouring rain again. Okay, so if you're going in to represent me, and I'm telling you, we need better pay, we need time off with pay, we need sick leave, we need what we need. Why you go in and you broker a deal and you come out and make everybody think that we're in with this? Okay, so I'm sorry, y'all. My glasses keep messing up. My glasses. Anyway, the article reads, the railroad workers have been increasing odds with their employers over quality of life issues and benefits such as paid time off. People are realizing that railroad life is kind of hard. said the Railway Age columnist Jim Blaze, who also was a railroad worker, tried to say that 5 times, for 5 decades. A lot of these people are overworked and they're upset. And you know what? If I had their job, I'd be upset too. So in all, there are 12 unions, you guys. So 12 unions representing 115,000 workers are involved, all of which have to ratify their contracts to prevent a shutdown. So far, at least 6 unions have voted to make the deal official. But y'all, they need 6 more. In the meantime, all the parties involved have agreed to continue talking about next steps. So the earliest strike that could happen is November 19th. Did you hear that? We are a day short. We're about to be November 1st tomorrow. Okay, you will see this video today because this is important. We are looming with a railroad strike that could be as early as November 19th. Let that sink in. The article also goes on to state that if there is going to be a strike, that's probably the time you want it, when there's not a huge demand, but there's still enough crews on hand to run a lot of trains, and there are still bottlenecks on certain sections of the track. Let's remember, this is happening because the unions went in to represent the workers, but didn't have their best interest. Okay, they did a deal to help the Biden administration, if you ask me, because that would hurt the chances in this election that's coming up. They rejected that sick time demand. Okay, they want to get paid if they're sick. If they want to accrue sick time, they want to accrue as much time as they possibly can. So if they have, death in the family, they could take off and use that pay. Instead, they were told they can't take off. Then they were told, once they approved the deal, that, oh, you can take off, but you're going to pay for it. We're not going to pay you. The article says there are 21 railroads, large and small, in Minnesota. Only the 4 largest railroads are unionized and would be affected by a strike. BNSF, Canadian Pacific, Canadian National Railway, and Union Pacific Railroad. About statewide 3,500 workers could be involved in a strike. So the article also goes on to read that across the country, the Association of American Railroads says 7,000 trains run every day, but if they shut down, it will cost the economy $2 billion every single day. As if we are not in a crisis already. Plus, they don't have a lot of options out there, alternate modes of transportation to move things if the railroad shuts down on November or by November 19th. Okay, so it's saying it is limited because of the Mississippi River is so low, its barge traffic is slowed, and there's still a shortage of trucks and truck drivers. The passenger rail service Amtrak would also be impacted. And while they might affect everyday people, supply chain management experts say a strike won't. While railroad strikes may be rare, you guys, it is going to impact us. Now, mind you, trains deliver raw material like grains and fertilizer and stuff like that. So they're saying it shouldn't impact us shopping wise and the shelves being empty. But if you already have a shortage of truck drivers, trucks, especially in California, since they have that whole AB5 situation going on, it is going to impact us. And we need to pay attention. Like the article says, we need to be aware of what is happening as consumers. Because even though they're saying it shouldn't affect us, eventually it all affects us. Because trains were also carrying more than raw materials as of lately because of the shortage of truckers and truck drivers. So ports were depending on the railroad to carry those containers that a lot of truckers would normally be carrying out of the port, but because they didn't have certain parts for the lifts to lift the container onto the truck, and then they didn't have a lot of trucks there in order to do that. The lines are still long, waiting to get into the ports and waiting to get out of the ports for truckers. So that's why they were using the railroad. So for them to say that it won't affect anything in the stores for us consumers, yeah, it will. Because they were using trains to carry those things. And then the trucks would then get them. But they couldn't get them from the port before that. So just wanted to bring this to you guys. I will see you in the next video. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what's going on. Please feel free to share any and all of my videos, because it does help the channel, and y'all, it needs all the help it can get. So I'm gonna leave now, because I have to go and do another video for another news story that I want to bring to you guys. Stay encouraged, be encouraged. Don't live in fear. Live in preparedness. Prep today so you are prepared for tomorrow. I love you, but God loves you more. He created only one you. Be the best you that you can be, and when you are, go out and spread God's love. Peace, love, and light. Thank you for being here on Tommy's Carolina Homestead.
Voted down a labor deal that's needed to avoid a strike, and that's important because trains move about a third of our exports. That's things like coal, grain, and fertilizer, and if there's no deal, a strike would cripple the supply chain.
For months now, railway workers have been at increasing odds with their employers over quality of life issues and benefits like paid time off.
I wasn't surprised, nor am I necessarily alarmed.
A railroad worker for 5 decades, Jim Blaze still writes about the industry that just last month reached a tentative deal with the Biden administration to avoid a national rail strike. But today, a second union voted that down.
A lot of these people have been really overworked, and they're upset.
In all, 12 unions are involved that represent 115,000 workers, all of which would have to ratify their contracts to prevent a shutdown. So far, at least 6 unions have voted to make the deal official, but all of them have agreed to continue talking about the next steps, meaning the earliest a strike could happen is November 19th. 4 large unionized railroads operate out of Minnesota, and some 3,500 workers here would go on strike. But across the country, 7,000 trains run every day, and if they shut down, the Association of American Railroads says it would cost the economy $2 billion every day. And with the Mississippi River so low it's limiting barge traffic to a shortage of trucks and truck drivers, even alternative options are limited.